It's the final day for the prosecution to make their arguments in the impeachment trial of U.S. President Donald Trump. Yesterday's session lasted nearly 9 hours as Democrats detailed how Mr. Trump attempted to force Ukraine to dish out dirt on his rival Joe Biden.
And when the Senate reconvenes this afternoon, House Democrats will focus on the second impeachment charge, and that is obstruction of Congress. Then it's over to Mr. Trump's legal team for 3 days.
No Constitution can protect us. Right doesn't matter anymore. And you know you can't trust this president to do what's right for this country. You can trust he will do what's right for Donald Trump. He'll do it now. He's done it before. He'll do it for the next several months. He'll do it in the election if he's allowed to. This is why, if you find him guilty, you must find that he should be removed. Because right matters. Because right matters. And the truth matters. Otherwise, we are lost.
And for more, we're speaking to Simon Marks in Washington, D.C. Simon, 2 marathon sessions so far. Are there signs that Democrats are losing people's attention?
Well, Glenda, marathon sessions indeed, and some of the sessions marked by very emotional appeals, as you heard there. Appeals from the Democrats to Republican senators who have been shifting in their seats, looking uncomfortable. Some have been noticed nodding off in the chamber. The rules of the road at this trial, though, say that the senators have to sit there. They're not actually allowed to leave the chamber because they are members of President Trump's jury, supposedly on the brink of dispensing impartial justice in this case. So the Democrats have been hammering away, not just detailing the voluminous evidence that they say they've gathered against President Trump, but also making the case, as you heard there, that if the Senate doesn't view this through a neutral prism and recognize the volume of evidence that they've gathered against him and do something, the Senate will be setting a dreadful precedent. One television viewer, of course, is the president himself. Even as we are on the air, he is engaged in a relentless tweet storm about this process. Just a few minutes ago, he tweeted, after having been treated unbelievably unfairly in the House and then having to endure hour after hour of lies, fraud and deception, it looks like my lawyers will be forced to start on Saturday, which is called Death Valley on TV. The president seeming to want some kind of midweek primetime opportunity for his lawyers to offer up their defense. They've got a narrative complexity on their plates, though. They have already indicated that they may only use 6 of the 24 hours they have been allotted to offer a defense of the president's conduct. The White House says that's because the charges obviously do not rise to the level of impeachment, and therefore there's no need to spend a great deal of time pushing back against them. The president's critics wonder if that's because his lawyers have no fact-based defense of the president's conduct to offer.
Well, Simon, not far away from Congress, Mr. Trump is going to be at a very different event. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, big day here in Washington today, the 47th annual March for Life, where those people who, like President Trump, would like to see abortion made illegal in the United States, come to Washington in their hundreds of thousands. This is a huge event every year, but what's going to make history about it this year is that for the first time it will be addressed by the President of the United States. So within the next 4 hours or so, President Trump will be heading to the National Mall right in the center of Washington to address those people who have come from all over the country for this rally. It's an indication of the fact that President Trump truly wants to energize his base, as we are now, 10 months away from America's presidential election, but it's also an indication that he's trying to draw people's attention away away from the impeachment trial. And he's got a whole raft of events lined up for next week as well, including the possible unveiling of the Trump's peace plan, the Trump administration's peace plan for the Middle East. A whole raft of events now on the president's calendar in a bid to draw attention away from what's taking place in the Senate.
Simon, thank you very much for that. We've been speaking there to Simon Marks from Washington, D.C.